Check out the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong figures at Walmart's website at the links in the description. Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It's Steven here. Hey, and we're back taking a look at some Godzilla vs. Kong figures, and today we're going to be taking a look at the newest iteration of Mechagodzilla. Playmates is releasing this guy in the 6-inch scale along with a HEAV, Hidden Earth something vehicle, I guess. I don't know, who cares? HEAV, HEAV. Cool. Let's continue on. So this is the newest version of Mechagodzilla, which was not really well kept as a surprise, thanks to leaks from many moons ago. And, well, he was kind of revealed sort of in the first trailer. Now we have the first official product of him on the market, and fans are clamoring for him. Unfortunately, scalpers are grabbing this $10 figure and listing it for more than $50 in Facebook groups and eBay. Should you pay that much? Or just, wait to get it for retail, which is what it's worth. Let's take a look to see whether or not Mechagodzilla is worth adding into your collection. Keeping in mind that this is going to be $10, Mechagodzilla actually does look very good. Something to keep in mind as well is that sometimes when you cast things in one particular color in plastic and you paint sections elsewhere on the figure in another color of red, you're not going to get the same matchup. So for an example, if you were to, let's say, cast one section of a human in skin tone and then try to match up another area that is not cast in that plastic with the same kind of paint, it's not going to look the same. Thankfully here, for the areas on Mechagodzilla that are painted that use red, it does kind of match up with the dorsal plates. But other than that, Mechagodzilla is basically going to be rocking three colors. He's going to be rocking that sort of silver grayish color for his main body, red, even though he is going to be using a ever so slightly darker red for the body and eyes. And then when we take a look at the battle damage reveal, which is just a little piece of plastic on his chest you remove, it's not very difficult to figure out. He's going to have a slightly darker gray or silver, gunmetal even, for the battle damage on the inside. Now generally, the details for something like this, which is not meant to be a super high-end collector item, you're not really going to have finer details, but thankfully those are actually captured relatively well here for the price point and considering the general target demographic. Especially when we do take a look at that battle damage, we actually may have something that is revealed here. Kind of looks like we have some, I don't know, missile pods or something, but considering his chest is facing the ground, don't quite know if that's going to be useful for anything. But even still, we do have a whole bunch of gadgets and gizmos, what it does look like to be here on Mechagodzilla, and even it looks like those are maybe battleships or something on the back. Cool, I guess. Yeah, we got wheels on Mechagodzilla's legs, and his little toesies look pretty cool. We even have a nice finer detail with one of his grabby hands being sort of closed and the other one very open, and not to mention that the dorsal plates actually have details as well. Generally speaking, this Mechagodzilla, for the price and for the size, does look very good. Now for accessories, everything in this lineup is going to come with one, whether it's going to be a weapon, a beam, or a vehicle, and this one is going to come with a HEAV, which we did see back with the Skullcrawler release, which actually was reissued for this particular wave as well. Pretty cool. This time it's green with a silver window. Yep. Yeah, so for accessories, hold on to your butts. Let's wait till the end of the articulation section. Time to talk about articulation, and I think Playmates did a just fine job for the price, though there are a couple of spots where they could have gone above and beyond. What do we have? Well, the jaw opens and closes on a hinge, as you can see here, which is pretty cool. We'll talk about the mouth area right at the end. So, swivel hinge at the shoulders. Now, for swivel purposes, they go about that far forward and back. The sculpt here is made of a softer plastic, so you can technically push that just a little bit, but you do want to make sure you're not damaging your figures, so that's as far as I will say. Now we do have the hinge, raise and lower the arms about that far. Pretty cool. Now, it does look like the forearms plug into the biceps on a peg, giving you a bicep swivel. Something to keep in mind, though, it does seem like that may be glued or actually one part. I tried using heat, I tried using a whole lot of force to get that to move and get it to crack and spin for me, but it just looks like I'm stressing the plastic. Don't break your figures. It doesn't look like that's going to move. Now to move on down to the legs, what do we have? Well, we do have swivel hinge combos. So we do have swivels to kick the legs forward and back about that far, and then hinge out about that far. These joints are incredibly loose, so if you do get yours, do take note you are going to have to be a little finicky with Mechagodzilla to get him to stand just as perfect as you want him. We do have hinge knees, so there we go. Swivel ankles. Very nice. The tail does appear as if it would have a bendy wire, and I have actually seen some folks with their tails like this. There's no bendy wire, and the, I guess, heat and pressure of how this guy was in the package or stored, that just warped his tail that way. We do have one ball joint connection where you attach the tail, and that's going to be about it for the articulation. Now, I said we're going to come back here to the mouth and talk kind of sort of about what may come up in the future from Playmates. There is a hole in Mechagodzilla's mouth. And given that there is a Funko Pop that does this, but it's red, I think we know what comes up. So, yeah, maybe we'll see another figure in the future. So, Mechagodzilla does use a softer plastic, and because of that, I mean, you can just see easy to move, meld, so forth. Do keep in mind that some joints may be loose, and he may be difficult to pose and hold that pose. As you can see there, with relative ease, he just kind of crumples under his own weight. So, yeah, good articulation. They could have added in a couple of more points, but because of the materials and, well, the odd engineering, I guess, in some parts, fun to pose, but will he get poses that are really fantastic? Not necessarily. But hey, they did a good job. Now let's go ahead and move on over to a size comparison with some other figures you might have in your collection, and just go ahead and do everything in this wave that sort of falls under the quote-unquote action figure umbrella. There's only going to be one Kong here because they're basically going to be using the same body but a different head sculpt. Everything is sort of repainted, and we got to end everything off with what could potentially be our last look at the Monsterverse. Who knows what's coming up in the future, but fingers crossed we get more. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. For MSRP, this is a no-brainer. It is really fun. Just wish that they were able to maintain tighter joints, at least on my particular unit. But even then, for the price, hey, not going to fault it. This is going to be a nice placeholder until we get the SH Monster Arts, which I'm hoping we do get. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But either way, this is fun. This is meant for a particular target audience, and if you are not in that and you just like to collect Godzilla stuff, you're not going to be disappointed with this one. This one's getting his own special review just because there was not really one to pair it with, and it's a new Mechagodzilla. Pretty dang cool. It's worth the $10. Don't feed the scalpers. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.